Here we are, today's project. We're back on the 1983 two-door Malibu wagon we call Medusa. So what we got here, all right, we'll explain a little bit of what's going on here. We got a door off of an El Camino, same thing as a regular Malibu. We just happened to get them off an El Camino. So what I ended up doing here, okay, you can see this is the original B pillar, okay, A pillar, B pillar. That's where my door would have been. As you guys and gals can see, I'm not no small fellow, okay? So I wanted a bigger opening. I planned on putting a funny car cage in this at one point. Don't know if we'll still do that or not, but I needed the room to get myself in. With the X bracing on the doors, there was no way with that little door that I was getting my body in that hottie. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's what led to the two-door conversion. Plus, it's cool. So what we ended up doing, we took the El Camino doors, we removed the B pillar. Let me adjust this so you can actually see what I'm talking about. Here's where the B pillar originally was. We moved that back. It ended up being like 11 3/4 inches that I gained. Okay, so that would have gave me all this opening, the original door opening, to be able to get my body in there. So what we ended up doing for the back here, we took the door skin, all right, this is the door skin from the four-door Malibu. And we ended up cutting and making that a little quarter panel, okay? Now, I don't know if you guys and gals can see it, but right here's the door handle. This was not done, this conversion was done in 2 days. I had a long weekend and I was like, let's do it. I just wanted to get it done because I knew if I didn't get it done, I wouldn't do it. So that's where we're at today. Now we're gonna come back in here. We're gonna get this hardware stripped off this door, get this door stripped down, and we're gonna start adjusting our back panel so it flows out more seamlessly. And we'll get more into that once we get going. So what we got here, we took the side moldings off of this guy. All right, and this one I had to drill out. And then down here it had rocker moldings on it. We're gonna go ahead and get rid of all those studs before we start stripping, because we don't want to tear our pads up when we go strip this down. So, what do I do with those? Guys and gals, safety first. Guys and gals, folks will stop by here and they'll ask me, like, why are these cars always so high in the air? And that's another good example as to why. That way I can be in my nice little comfy rolly chair, hanging out in my hot rod, having a good time. I'm not breaking my neck trying to stand on my head to get things done. Okay, so let's get this door handle and that Euro sports mirror off the car. Don't worry, we put them over there for safekeeping. So, there you go. Got the hardware stripped off there. We're going to get this thing ground down. Let's see what we got to work with here. Alright guys and gals, there you go. You can see it takes some doing. About 30 minutes there, the old camera says. Just take your time. Working area, let it cool, come back, working area, carry on, carry on, carry on. As you can see, this door's not in the best of shape. But one thing it isn't, it's not rotted. So what we got here is some pretty significant damage. But we're going to go in here and show you how we can minimize that, smooth that out, have that looking a lot better where we don't need so much filler to smooth this panel out. Okay, in worst case scenario, you know, I got $100 in this door. Okay, if you guys and gals have seen the price of these doors, well, I'll just tell you, they're like $700 for a complete shell. Alright, so if we can save this one, original GM door, we can make this fit, make it work for our situation, with just a little massaging, that's what we're going to try to do. In worst case, if not, we'll get a door skin. Door skins, I think, are like $200 and some, so it's not as bad as getting the whole shell. So there you go. Starting to see what we're after here. Looking pretty slick. Alright, we're going to get this done. We'll cut you back along when we're ready. Alright guys and gals, the dog's happy she can come back in. Alright, there you go. Now you can see, I went a little wild. I stripped the whole thing off. Now, a lot of you might be asking, why'd you do that? Well, I'll be honest with you. This car's been sitting probably 5 years with that on there. And I just don't trust it. So we're going to strip the whole car. And what you're looking at here, a marker light, marker light, fuel door where it used to be. It's now back here. If it pops open. Oh, I got it taped shut. Yeah, so that just, boop. Flush mount deal. Street rod stuff, baby. Tail lights, vertical tail lights. Reverse lights down there. Roll pan on a wagon. All right, so there you go. We got that all stripped off there. What we're trying to do here, we're trying to get these body lines 100%. Now, I will tell you, the way I went about doing this two-door conversion, okay, I had to think to myself, I need to start from a fixed point, something that's not going to change. So the only thing I really had to go off of was the rocker. So that's what we did. We took our front jamb here, our front end, fitted that all up, fit our door to that opening, fit our door to the rocker. Just like I told you, we come in here and we cut. See if you can see it. Let me show you on the other side. There's a panel right there. That's where our B pillar used to be. We cut that completely out from top to bottom. See it there? Okay? And that other piece in there is just structural bracing. You know me, I love my bracing. But we moved the B pillar completely back. And you can see there in there. That's the door opening for the four-door wagon back door. So it's back as far as we could get it. Okay? And then we just took, braced everything up where the door would have been to give us an attachment point here for our top piece. And you'll notice all this is just spot welded in because once I got this done, I only had 2 days to do it, so I just got it knocked out quick. And then the poor thing got sat aside forever. So, here we are, we're revisiting this. But I don't know if you guys and gals can tell very well. Let's get down here. Alright, body lines lined up pretty good. Rocker side looking pretty good. But once we come up top here, see my issue. It goes from a steady up crease here, whoop, down, whoop, back up. That's not good. We don't like the way that transition is. So, we're gonna come in here at some point, cut this completely off, and make a decision whether we're gonna make a top piece to blend them two together so it's seamless and it looks more flowing. I mean, most people wouldn't even have noticed it if I wouldn't have pointed it out, but I see it and it drives me nuts. So, we're gonna fix it. But today, we're gonna concentrate on salvaging this door. Now, as you can see here, we got some pretty deep dents. Okay? Now, a lot of you guys and gals know, back in the day, the way they filled things, you know, fixed things, had a dent, hammered it in, you filled it in. Moved on, okay? Up here, I'll show you. This is how they repaired this bottom piece. They drilled a bunch of holes in it, pull it back out, okay? And fill it full of filler. But we're not gonna do that. We got a little trick, another little tool we got. Stun gun. It's actually a stud gun, but I call it a stun gun. It's just gonna stun these dents, how good it's gonna get them out. All right, we'll get set up here, and we'll click you back on. All right, guys and gals, we got ourselves our little volcanic disc. That's not volcanic, but that's what I call it. A little stripper disc, same as our stripper wheel, just on a grinder. You see there, that went right in them little divots and cleaned that up. Now, next thing I got here my stud gun. All right. This is a welder. Okay. Weld these little studs onto the panels. All right. Then there's a slide hammer that attaches to the stud. So if you have a panel with a backer on it that you can't get, you know, a hammer and a dolly into that situation, this here will get you straightened out. Is it going to be perfect? No. Is it going to be a lot better than a divot or a dent? Absolutely. Here comes, you know, a little copper stud. Is that bad on there? Get this dent pulled out. All right, as you can see, it just goes, you know, it just slides right in the end. And they have new ones. This thing's old, okay? A lot of my stuff, guys and gals, is old. It's been around for a long time. The new ones, I believe, actually have a magnetic tip. So you just want to make good ground. Hit it for a second. Just going to put you a stud in there. Move on over. It doesn't take but a second, okay? You don't want to just hammer this thing because it'll burn a hole right through your panel. This is essentially a handheld welder. And we got our little slide hammer here. It has a little gripper wheel on there, okay? We're going to slide that on, roll that wheel back, and the hammer just slides in there. I don't know if you guys and gals seen that, but that popped that little dent right out. Get these down here. You can see that's a pretty good sized dent there. Okay, looks like a ball peen hammer or something might have put that there. Now, one thing I will tell you, you don't want to overdo this because you'll have an extruded dent then. Or a dimple or whatever you want to call it. Now, switch your blade out here. Or, you know what, let me grab a pair of side cutters. A lot of times you just come in here with your side cutters and cut them studs off. Take your little flat disc, grind that down. You'll be good to go. All right, we'll get that done. We'll show you what that looks like. Now that looks like a porcupine, but once you grind that flat, okay, I mean, you can tell it pulled them dents right out of there. Same thing here. I don't know if you can see it now. Just pull that dent right on out. And just grind that off, smooth that out, and you'll just have a little skim coat there instead of a divot that you have to fill. Okay? The object is you want to use your body filler to take up slight imperfections. Alright? We don't want to remake panels or rely on it to make our body lines, stuff like that. This is why we take our time to do these things. It just makes for a better end result. Okay, we got full on custom here. We don't want this thing looking janky. All right, we'll get them ground down, smoothed off, finish this panel out. All right, guys and gals, there you can see. Now here's another little trick for you. If you're not real sure, okay, how your dent's working out, just get you a straight edge, you know, and look for the gap behind it or in between. If there's no gap, then you pretty much got it. Another thing using this straight edge will do for you, okay, if you get it to a certain point to where you're happy with it per se, see if I can get this to focus. All right, there we go. Now you'll be able to see if you have enough room there for the filler that you need to blend that. So there's a good example. All right, there's our previous dent. And you can see just a tiny, and I mean a tiny bit yet. See how it's tight there? But I'll also show you that that little ding right there actually goes quite a lot further than you would think. Well, there you go. There's this one. Same thing. All right. You know, and that's just a good reference for you. So you'll be able to tell, one, do you have the dent removed to your likings? Two, is there any high spots like right there? Okay. It just gives you a good guide before you have to do any mud work or anything like that. Just shows you where you're at. And I gotta tell you, that's not bad. That's a lot better than what we had. So, you know, just goes to show you. Don't condemn a door that you find at a swap meet or something just because it's full of filler. Because I tell you what, if I'd have judged this door's character on what it had on its skin, you know, just like they say about people, don't judge it from the outside. Get down and see what's underneath that baby. Okay. I'm fairly happy with this. This shows me that this door is plenty salvageable. And we'll be able to use this as a good starting point. Okay, because all our bylines are sweet. We'll use this as a good reference point to get our back straightened out. Alright, guys and gals. I'll shut you off here for a second, get set up. And I'm going to show you we're just going to run through some ideas of what I'm thinking about doing in the back here. We'll click you back on in a second. Alright, guys and gals, here we are. Let's get this figured out while we got a minute. So what we end up doing here, okay, we have two established body lines. I went off the wheel well there. That's never been cut or changed or anything in the factory mounting position of the front fender. And then we snapped our line just to see where our door is in relation to those two panels. Okay, I'm not even really paying any mind to this section because remember, this is the rear door that we cut the skin off of and made a quarter panel out of it. So, but even that lines up. So we have our door, our rocker set. It's a beautiful gap across there, but like that. Got our door, our first body line up from that set. Now we're going to move up here and we're going to see where this body line establishes itself. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to use our chalk box. We're going to use some tape. Well, my big hand got in the way. We're going to get a line snapped on this guy, see where she's at. Alright, so what I want to do here, okay, now, and you'll have to pay attention to your particular car too. You know, if your body lines have a contour to them, this isn't going to work for you. But I just want to see what this is in relation to the rest of the car. I'm just going to take our tape, tape it right on that body line. You want this to be as accurate as you possibly can, even though it is just a reference point. We got bright orange. Okay, now you can see on the back of the wagon here, the body line disappears. So we're going to go up here to an established body line where we know for sure that's where it is. Okay. We're going to hold that on there. Pull it off the panel and slowly line it up. Hold it on my end. It's a little high on that end. Let's adjust our tape because we want this right. So we're going to let this relax. Relax. What I was noticing there when I was pulling it tight is it pulled the string up above the body line. We don't want that because we're going to make some major decisions off this little tiny string here. All right, let's try that again. All right, that's what it is. All right, guys and gals, there you go. So that's just a quick and easy way to establish a non-existent line in a space where you need a line. So what I'm after here is I just want a representation of that body line from front to back. Okay? I want to see what that looks like in real space. And as you can see, we're right here on our body line. Okay, let's walk down through here. Not bad. You know, within reason. When we get back here to the end of our door, look what happens. Okay, now if we go down here, there's our body line. There's our body line. So, what that tells me, okay, and this could be the difference between the 2-door door height and the 4-door wagon height. You know, it could just be that. Now, when I line these two up, I'm noticing, okay, now this is just the skin. And you'll notice all this stuff's just spot welded in here because, like I told you, I did this in like 2 days. But okay, if we go back here to the back, look at our body line. We're on it. We're on it. We're on it. So what we're going to end up doing here is we're going to make this right. Okay? Now what? I don't know exactly how we're going to go about doing that, but now we know what we need to contend with. Now we can start devising a plan on how to get it fixed. And I'm not opposed to cutting that out and making a piece and, you know, making that flow, because that's really what we're after. We want this thing to look symmetrical. We want it to look nice. We want everything to flow smooth. You know, and 90% of the people wouldn't even have noticed it, but I see it and it just drives me nuts. So that's where we're at. All right, guys and gals. I think that's about enough braining for today. That's going to wrap it up for Miss Medusa. Boy, she's looking good. Oh, yeah. All right, guys and gals, you know why we do it. For the love of hot rods and horsepower. Out there and get yourself a project. Start enjoying it. We'll catch you on the next one. Boom, chicken.